Hello, my name is Yuhan Sun. I'm a student from the 2021 Spring Global Environmental Health course. Next, I will introduce content related to the Goiânia accident and breast cancer through a few figures. The purpose and task of this presentation is to first briefly introduce the history of the Goiânia accident, then show whether the accident is related to the incidence of breast cancer from the perspective of space and time, and finally introduce the recommended threshold of human radiation exaggeration. This is the main content of this show. Same as the purpose, it is divided into three parts. The Goiânia accident is a radioactive pollution accident that occurred on September 13, 1987 in Goiânia in the Brazilian state of Goiás Lake. The accident was caused by the removal of sealed source containing cesium-137 in an abandoned radiotherapy room in Goiânia, resulting in the deaths of 4 people. This accident has caused a lot of impact on people and the environment. At present, scientists are doing relative research to explore whether the radioactive contamination caused an increase in the prevalence of certain cancers. Figure 1 comes from a study on breast cancer and shows the map of the urban area of Goiânia. Goiânia is divided into census tracts, which are the territorial units used for controlling collection of the census data. The central region of Goiânia comprises of the campus center and south healthcare districts, which contains the 7 major sources of contamination of the cesium-137 accident, as the majority of new cases of breast cancer was defined as the study group. Exposure ionizing radiation is a well-known risk factor for the development of breast cancer. From the total number of breast cancer cases during the survey period and the estimated average female pollution, the researchers derived the crude incidence rate between specific regions and compared it with 2016 estimate. Figure 2 shows the comparison of crude incidence of breast cancer in different regions. It can be found that the crude incidence of breast cancer in Goiânia is higher than that of Brazil and its states. At the same time, it can be noticed that areas close to the accident, the crude incidence of breast cancer is a bit higher. However, the researchers later used regression analysis and took into account the original incidence of breast cancer and the average dose of ionizing radiation, and found that there was no statistical correlation between these variables. The first 2 pictures show the relationship between breast cancer and ionizing radiation from the space. And the next 2 pictures will show from the time. Figure 3 shows the incidence of new breast cancer cases in women by age group. It can be found that women aged 15 to 69 have a higher incidence of new breast cancer cases. Further analysis of the annual percentage change of different age groups. Figure 4 shows it. It is found that the annual percentage change of people under the age of 39 has declined from 2007 to 2012 for the 40 to 49 and 50 to 69 age groups. The annual percentage change initially increased and then decreased, while for the greater than or equal to 70 age group, the annual percentage change remains stable. This study finally showed that during the first 17 years of the evaluation, the incidence of breast cancer in women living in Goiânia increased, and then between 2004 and 2012, it tends to be stable. and there is no connection with the radiation accident. It is easy to notice the spread of radiation pollution in the environment, but it is easy to overlook the secondary pollution caused by patients who have been exposed to radiation pollution, such as patients' urine and feces. Therefore, it's recommended to perform whole-body counter monitoring and 24-hour urine and physical collection for patients who may have internal contamination or individuals who are hospitalized. Figure 5 shows the suggested maximum in-body radioactivities for discharge from hospital as a function of age and time since incorporation of cesium-137. As the number of these increases, each group will eventually reach a certain threshold. The recommended radioactive limited value of cesium-137 in the human body is very low enough to prevent people who comply with this standard from causing harm to others due to external exposure. Finally, to summarize, the Goiânia accident is a radioactive pollution accident which was caused by the removal of sealed source containing cesium-137 in Goiânia. In terms of space and time, current research has not found a connection between the radiation accident and the incidence of breast cancer. By consulting the data, it is found that there are still relatively few studies on this radiation accident, and is awaiting researchers to explore. This is reference used. Thank you.